together like this is a good sign. Says a lot. Okay, you're going to do your formal stuff.
Thank you everybody for coming. So we want to start the year, I know how George said, to try to pump things up and get service oriented and take accountability for our actions as well. So we start with ourselves, with the department heads and us at our health, and then we can provide that to our team members. So we invited? Sorry.
I just want to make sure before completely take over, everyone should turn off your cell phones off and put them in your pocket. I don't want anyone to take them out, look at your emails. The only way we'll get out of here is if someone dies or the hotel's on fire. Outside of that, this is our focus. Thank you.
Okay. So Mr. Rodney Bourne. So over the past 70 years, Rodney Bourne has emerged as the most dynamic, entertaining, and sought-after priority speaker and top priority mastery coach in both Dutch and British Caribbean. He is the founder of Priority Authority, Authority of Priority Mastery Guide, creator of Prioritize You, Prioritize Marketing, Prioritize Sales, and Prioritize Business Training Programs. Speaking and training worldwide each year, Rodney provides answers, informs challenges, and inspires employees, sales teams, lower, middle, and upper management for many small, medium, and large successful companies. Rodney will show you how to change your listening and learning habits from the traditional I know that to the 21st century, how good am I at that? Each participant will walk away with new understanding and an individualized game plan for action and success. If you want someone that you can truly make a difference, the difference is Priority Authority, Rodney Bourne. So speaking to thousands of people each year, we're happy to have him here with us today, so please give him a warm welcome.
Well, I didn't write that, so don't worry. Yeah, I had a friend in the States told me, Rodney, you need to make a very good introduction. You got to get away from the Caribbean flavor. But yeah, like she just gave, thank you, Cynthia, for giving me an introduction like that. My name, like I said before, is Rodney Bourne. Here you don't see Priority Authority. When I did it, it's when I was actually developing a program I called Priority Mastery. It was actually a program for myself because I found that time management really doesn't work, because when like your director just, told you guys turn off your phone because he's smart. He knows that as long as you get a your attention goes there. You might assume that it is important or that it is urgent, but it might not be important, and then that's where time management goes through the door. And when you know your priorities, you tend to do things a little bit different. So we had a great session with Karen with that. The part about inspiration, as a matter of fact, during last year, I spent a lot of time doing what I call ideal client attraction. Why ideal client attraction is because, during the last 18 years I've lived in, we're actually having something in common with Cynthia. She said she was in all the Caribbean islands before she came here. And I remember when I was traveling for a company called DS Max in the States, where I was doing troubleshooting. You see, I came from a very poor family. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the island here, like Surf Fortuna and these kind of rough areas. Nothing against the areas, but I grew up in a neighborhood like that. My mother used to work at a bakery. She earned $150 a week. My dad used to work at the university. That's what I used to tell all of my friends. But really and truly, he was just a gardener. But just to tease my friends, I would say my daddy, he works at the university. But I never tell him exactly what he did. I always thought about having my own business and running my own business or being able to, run an enterprise. But somehow nobody in my family knew anything about money. My father just worked hard and tried to save for a rainy day. So guess what kind of days our family always had? Rainy days. Rainy days are like bad days. We were saving for bad days, so the only thing I saw was bad days. And I always thought that it was something different. And when I was 14, around 15, 16, I came across a book. I didn't even see the back of the book. How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I was a guy with very low self-esteem. If the father can actually stand up and talking to you guys now, it's like a miracle because, when I was younger, I was really, really shy. Couldn't get a date to save my life. Just one of those guys that was recording the lines and writing in the middle of my hand and hiding it and looking, So I came, from a background where you would say that this guy would never make it. As a matter of fact, in school, I was in Barbados last year, and I went back to the old school that I went to. And I saw a lot of teachers crying, and I'm going to tell you why they cried. When I was going to school, one of the things that they wrote on my report report was too talkative. Every report that I got, they put, Rodney is too talkative, disturb the class, always talking. And they would literally punish me. I'm serious, I used to get punished. They would put me outside the door and say, Rodney, stop talking, stop disturbing the class. And when I went back to Barbados and I went to my old school and they asked me to give a speech to 600 students and the teachers, they started to cry because one of the things that I spoke to them about was that the things that sometimes people punish you for when you're young are the same things that you can grow up and make a living from. I mean, I don't know how many thousands of people I speak to every year and how many people's lives are being changed by the same thing that I used to get punished for. And that raised something in my mind that I always share with people when I meet them like you. What is wrong and what is right? What we're going to go through today, okay, probably some of you came to this session thinking, oh my God, he's going to come here and he's going to do exactly what the management team wants and he's going to punish me and I know, let me put up my guard. Well, it's nothing like that. What I'm going to do for you guys today is something that I wish many companies would do for their workers. I'm going to give you the opportunity to learn some tools that you're going to take with you for the rest of your life. I will guarantee you that you will take these things for the rest of your life and it will positively impact your life. Okay? A lot of times we want to change the results outside of ourselves, but we never want to deal with ourselves. When I give training to in the prison, people from these guys, criminals from 16 years to 24 years of age. I've given training to corporate, you name it, Wake Up, Mascapay. When they had strikes, workers didn't want to work. They call me, I talk to the workers, they go back to work. I mean, there's a whole list, but I don't really want to tell you all this stuff to impress you about me, but I want to impress upon you the importance of developing yourself. If you go on the internet, you're going to come across www.createabetteryou.com. I'm always posting stuff on Facebook about personal development. It's my joy, it's my fun. My goal this year and for the future, my mission really is to change 100,000 people's lives by teaching them how to use their unique message. You see, when I came to Curacao to start my direct sales business, I came with $500 in my pocket and a dream. I walked from business to business in Curacao in the sun. The first day on the street, the police picked me up and took me to Montana Police Station and investigated me because I sold a guy 24 watches, which were not illegal, but they thought because I spoke only English that I was illegal. So they arrested me over there. You know, I had to call my lawyer to come out. You know, the next day I had an accident and burst open my head, it was bleeding. I mean, so there's a lot of stuff I went through here on the island, I'm not going to lie to you. To make a long story short, within 6 months, my business went from Rodney. I recruited 25 direct sales people on the road. We were selling from business to business, home to home. In 1 year, we were doing over $1 million guilders in business, and I was living pretty good at the age of 24 years. Okay, September 11 came, and then I got the biggest lesson of my life. I'm sharing this with you because it's going to be part of the training. It's going to help you a lot with your mindset. So I was 24 years old, I was earning a lot of money, built a good business, and thought that I would never have to worry about money again as long as I lived. September 11 came, I didn't expect that. That was not part of the business plan. And I lost everything. I had 250,000 dollars saved, my savings, you know. And I had to spend every single penny to pay rent and light and water because my containers were stuck in Miami because I had to open up Aruba, I had to open up St. Martin. So all these containers are stuck over there and I'm paying rent on all these locations. So I went flat broke. But here's the funny thing about going flat broke. Flat broke is not a bad thing. Flat broke is a bad thing when you're in a country where you don't have any family. That is bad. And when you don't really speak the language very well, that is bad. And when your permit is connected to the business, so when the business goes bankrupt, you become illegal. That is bad. And then you can't get a job because they ask you for papers. And then you don't have papers, so guess what? Right? And you're on the bus now because the bank take the car back and they take everything and the Dorado is coming at your house, knocking that collector. You know, the phones are ringing in the bank and the suppliers and everybody. You know, that's the kind of life that I went through after September 11. I almost went crazy. I'm not going to lie to you. I spent a year and a half in my home. Thank God I had met my wife and she was understanding. So I'm blessed. You know, because she worked and I didn't do anything. I was so depressed. Didn't feel like killing myself though, but I was depressed, really depressed. I was angry. I didn't want to see anybody. But in that year and a half, the first year I read about 70 books. No, I didn't have a computer, so I was going by the neighbor, using his internet to get the information. So If you tell me you're flat broke and you want to start something, you don't know what to do, well, I was borrowing his internet, borrowing his computer. You know, when he go to work, I would stay there, I would go on YouTube, and I learned all kinds of stuff. The first thing I learned is how to make money with no money. I read every single article on how to make money with no money, for you to understand. And then I came across information marketing. That's why I'm standing in front of you guys, because I'm selling you my information, right? My knowledge, my expertise, my unique message, my unique story. And when I found out that stuff, I was shocked, because you know what? I never thought it existed. I never thought that people would pay you to speak. I never thought that people would pay you for coaching programs. I never thought that people will pay you for consultancy. I never thought that people would pay somebody to coach them. That stuff did not exist. I didn't grow up in the neighborhood like that. And when I learned that, I developed the website. You guys know www.createabetteryou.com. I created a brand called Create a Better You. It was really about Rodney. I was just trying to get my life together. You know, so I created this stuff for me to create a better me. Little did I know that that message would reach so many people's lives and help people to make positive changes. Now, I was reading so many books and everybody was talking about be positive, have a positive. You guys hear a lot, right? All these affirmations. Do you all get them on Monday morning? These affirmations, a friend sent it to you. Think positive. Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm good looking, I'm good looking, I'm good looking, I'm good looking. You know, life is going to be better for me. You know, focus, the law of attraction. You know, if I stay home and I'm positive, everything beautiful will come into my life. And you stay home for years and the bills keep piling up and all of a sudden you ask yourself, well, something must be wrong with this magnet because I'm not attracting anything. You know? So I've seen all that stuff. I've read all the books. But then one thing that I found out that a lot of people were missing out is that a lot of people were trying to change the visible without changing the invisible. Really, I mean, in every sector I've been. Every year I have about 5 different seminars for small businesses. So I see about 150 small businesses every year. And I see it all the time. Everybody's trying to change their life outside, but nobody wants to deal with inside. And today's session, the first thing we're going to look at, right, are some key areas. Like one is going to be your belief system. We're going to touch that so deeply, short but deeply. You're going to say, oh my God, I didn't know that this thing existed. But it's going to help you. The next thing you're going to look at is communication. Now, I know you guys have been to the courses. Oh, I know that stuff. What is he going to come and teach me? But we're going to touch some very, very strategic things about communication, how you communicate yourself and how you communicate with people, that I will guarantee you it will change your life forever. Okay? Accountability. Okay? Being responsible for certain things in your life. You know? And first I'm going to deal with you and then with your work. Because let's be honest, everybody wants to change their work, do better at their work, but who does the work? Isn't it you? Isn't it you that give the message to your department for them to do the work? I mean, so everything starts with you, and if the dialogue between you and you isn't good, how is it possible for you to give something out? I mean, I always tell people this, I always tell my wife this, if I don't love Rodney, how can I say I love you? How can I give you love if I don't have love? If you go to the Bankomatico, right, and it doesn't have money inside, and you push in the card, can you take out money? No. So how can you give your department enthusiasm, excitement, and good results if you don't know how to communicate effectively with yourself? If you don't know how to get fired up and excited when you need to get fired up and excited, like when you get up in the morning and the husband don't give you the kiss or the wife don't give you the kiss you're accustomed getting. Yeah, a lot of times many trainers don't talk about these things. But let me tell you something. When this thing called Blackberry, Grayberry, Pinkberry, you know, what's up, what's in, what's across, what's up and down, you know the stuff we are talking about, pin and all kind of stuff. This stuff is making people break up their relationships faster than ever before. But the problem is not the devices, you know. The problem is the message. TV, Blackberry doesn't do anything. It's the person punching the information on the Blackberry. But what do? We slam the Blackberry, we get angry. But it's not the Blackberry, my friend. It is you. It's how you send that message out. Okay? You might be complaining the computer is slow. The computer is not slow. The way you work with the computer is slow. And if the computer is slow, guess what? Before there was the computer, the business was running, right? You were sending letters, you were sending messenger boys, you were doing all kinds of stuff. You were coming to work earlier, you were doing all kinds of changes. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. Don't worry yourself. Fun stuff though. Service excellence. I'm going to change your guys' mind about service excellence. I know everybody likes to hear the word service. It's a very nice corporate name. What about help? We're going to talk about helping people, not servicing people. How would you like to be serviced? Would you like me to come and service you? Think about that word. Would you like me to service you? Huh? Anybody here from Texas? A lot of cows. You see a male cow servicing the woman cow. You know that? That's service. We don't want to service people. We want to help people. Help, my friend. Help changes the ball game. The word help me changes the ball game. Service. Give me service. No, help me. You see the difference already? Okay, good. You're going to deal with teamwork and you're going to deal with ownership. Well, not teamwork like team building. No. No team building again. We're going to deal with just strategic things you can do to help you to be more effective with your team. Okay, my friends? So that's just the outline. So let's get into the action because I know you all want the action. Now, have you ever wanted to change something in your life real bad? Lose weight, get a better man, get a better woman, improve your job. Let's be honest. Right? Lose that 2-3 kilos. You've been fighting to put on some weight, put some muscle on the bones. Huh? We all have something that we want to change. Every year people make New Year resolutions. But why is it that when you see December and you hear jingle bell, half of the things that you made resolutions for in January somehow did not become a reality in December. And you set it again another year, and then the next year passed, and it's the same old. You have this big to-do list and you do nothing. Every year you have a new agenda, different color, different size, different shape. You got Outlook, you got Inlook, you got emails, you got organizers, you got all kinds of stuff, and still you can't get your life organized. Let's be honest, guys. You all know what I'm talking about, right? Let's be honest. We're talking real here. No fancy stuff. Just straight up, you know? So you want to change, but somehow you can't. You've been trying to read all these books. You've been buying books. You've been downloading stuff since your computer is bogged down with all kinds of positive, motivational. You've been reading the Bible from Genesis to Revelation and still you can't understand why God is blessing you. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? You just really like, what am I going to do next? Right? I'm serious. And you come to work and your director tells you gotta do this and you gotta do that. And you're like, man, but I don't even know what the hell to do for myself. How can I get those people going? Me, myself, I'm done on E. You know when your car is done on E? Your energy level is on E and they expected 100% performance, right? You've been to all these trainings and nobody's helping you to get the answers. But Rodney wants you to get the answer. You see, the reason why you're not getting results, my friends, is because you have conflict. The things you say and the things you believe, they're not compatible. You know what happens when you have a computer and you have a 1998 model and you want to put on Windows 2008 or whatever, somewhere the machines seem not to be compatible with each other. That's what happens to a lot of people. Outside of them, they want one thing, but inside of them, they believe something different. And that is why you're so confused. You put on an image to impress people, but inside you're crying for murder. Right? You put on your makeup, you put on your fancy shirt, you got your Louis Vuitton, you got your Mont Blanc, you got all the fancy stuff to impress people outside, but you're not happy with yourself. You go to all the courses, you have the biggest diplomas, but still you cannot function 100%. Your productivity is low. Because you don't even know who you are. You want to help everybody, but when you look at the end of the day, you don't achieve anything for yourself, and then Christmas time, everybody come and show you what they achieved. Thank you very much. You've been very helpful. Now you feel bad, and you tell everybody, I helped her. That doesn't change anything. When you're at a bus stop and she's driving in a brand new Mercedes-Benz. You understand what I'm saying? So there's certain things you need to get in place. So what I want to do, guys, I want to help you to realize that 80% of whatever you do is psychology. 20% is actually physical. And that is why you're going to find, I'm going to talk a lot today about your mindset. Your mindset, this thing, you have to protect it. You have to safeguard it. I see a lot of people just living anyhow, listening to anything, talking to anybody. You're broke? If you're broke, check the 20 people closest to you. If I'm serious, you want to see your future? Okay, and I'm not God. I'm not Nostradamus. Look at the 20 closest people to you. If they're broke, you broke. If they're unhappy, you unhappy. I'm serious, my friends. You don't have to read all the books. Just look at your life. The people around you, are they demotivated? I bet you demotivated too. They're unhappy, you scrape it. It's serious decisions, my friend. I used to have 300 people in my telephone. 300 people in my telephone. Everybody knows Rodney. One day I sat down and I looked at the end of the year and I asked myself, if I keep doing this here, what is the result I'm going to keep getting every year? The same thing, my friend. You can't get rich hanging with broke people. You could be nice to broke people. But if you hang with broke people your whole life and you want to get rich, you're not going to get rich. If you want to be happy and you hang around with a bunch of negative people all the time, complaining, blaming, criticizing, belittling, they can tell you all. I used to have some friends like that. They can tell you every single reason why that isn't going to work. But when you ask them for a suggestion, they don't have it. They're just breakers. They can break your idea, but they can't build it up. Those people, I call them parasites. You see what they do with cows? Parasites, they go on the cow, they suck him dry. Those people, they suck you dry. You find them on the job, you find them on the road, you find them at work, you find them at church, you find them everywhere. Right? And you have to make a decision in your life who you want to be with, my friends. Let me tell you something I learned along the way. Some people will like you and some will hate you. If you broke, they will like you, some will hate you. If you rich, some will like you, some will hate you. If you're happy, some will like you, some will hate you. I mean, which one is better? Better they like me and I'm happy, right? Or they hate me and I'm happy, than I'm broke and unhappy, and still they don't like me. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? It's a decision. I'm serious. It may sound, some people like to sugarcoat the whole thing. You have to be straight up, my friends. 4 things is very important for you guys' organization. We're not going to get in too deep, but I want to give you these 4 things because you need to remember this. Everybody wants more sales. That's probably why you're here. More productivity means more sales. They use the word productivity. It sounds very, very nice. You want sales. Bottom line, bank wants to see sales. Shareholders want to see sales. Whoever sitting on the big chair wants to see sales, my friend. Some of you probably think you're not in sales. You're all in sales. You're going to find out as I go further. You're all selling. I know that in school they give you another title. HR, PR. You're selling product, services, ideas, concepts. You're a salesperson. And you better get in your mind because without sales, everybody goes home. That's the harsh reality. Maybe nobody never told you that before when you apply for the job. That is the reality. You got to make sales. You got to sell them more cupcakes, more pastation. You want them to buy till the pocket dry, my friend. You have to understand this thing. This is the reality. People coming here on vacation, they're coming to spend money. And your job is to speak to them in a way that is so nice and so compelling. They like you so much that they will take you from the bottom of their foot to the top of their head. That is your job. Service that sells. Not service that make them go home back with all the money spent in the States. That's not the idea. That's not vacation. You understand what I'm saying, guys? Let's just get to the bottom line. Your job is to get them to spend their money. If you're not doing that, you're doing a bad job. Good. So you want more sales, you want more customers, you want more profits. Everybody wants that, right? Good. And that's why you're not getting them. Let me tell you why. A sale cannot take place until you have attracted an ideal prospect. A sale is a result of getting prospects. If I don't have a prospect, I can never convert a prospect into a client. You don't need sales, you need prospects. You need good conversion rates. That's how you make sales. Just give me a short thing. When you have made the sale, you need to keep the people coming back and buying. So you need to work on your retention, my friend. You all call it service. I call it keeping them coming back and buying. Take away the fancy word. Right? Every year, twice a year, and sending friends then is the next step, which I call growth. Growth means I want to treat you so good that you're going to go back and tell your friends, guess what? You got to go to Hilton. I know they have a lot of Hiltons, but you got to go to Hilton in Curacao. Forget about playing the double plane ticket. Don't worry with that, my friend. The experience you're going to get down there with the multicolored language and the multicolored personalities and the multicolored people. Rastaman speaking 4 languages. Could you believe that? Where in the Caribbean do you get a Rastaman speak 4 languages? Right? You guys understand what I'm saying? You gotta find that unique thing about you, and you gotta sell that unique message. If you just selling Hilton alone, guess what? I can go to any Hilton. Right? Nobody wants to go to Hilton. People want an experience, my friend. When you go to the movies, right? You know it is John Travolta, right? You know, right? But you don't care if it's John Travolta. You want action. Titanic. Jack, come back. Come back, Jack. Come back. Women start to cry like crazy. Women went and watched the movie twice, 3 times. My wife was crying. She cried for the movie more than she cried for me. Because of the experience. Titanic made people cry. And you love it. Because you felt the connection, right? And that's what you got to do. But that starts with your belief system. So let's get into the action. I was a little touch. Taking up a lot of time here, so let's move. Thoughts produce feelings. Feelings produce actions. Actions produce results. So if you don't like the results you're getting on the job or in your life, you need to look at the actions that you're taking. And if you don't like the actions that you're taking because you're not producing the results, you need to look at how you feel. You see, when you feel a certain way, you do certain things. How many times you tell yourself you wouldn't do something and you still do it because of the way you feel? You went to a party, you saw the lady, you saw the guy, you were not planning to go with them. But somehow you had a few drinks, a little like Zinfandel. And somehow the music was nice. They keep it on the low. It started to get a little groovy. Right? And somehow that gentleman or that lady started to give you a little rhythm combination. And all of a sudden, and then on a very soft voice. And then before you know, you say, yeah, I didn't mean for it to happen, but yeah. You see what feelings can do? So, if you find that the feelings somehow are not what they're supposed to be, then you see, what is it I'm thinking about that allows me to feel that way? Right? Now, most of the gurus, if you go into the internet, if you read all the books, most of the gurus or the so-called smart people, they stop here. And they keep you buying books until you die. Because you will never find the answer. While I was giving training in prison, I found out the answer. I'm going to share it with you guys. Cherish it. Cherish it. I'm going to give you the secret to being able to control your life and transform your life whenever you want, my friends. Here's the answer. This is the reason why you get the results. Your past experiences. See, a lot of times we do certain things in life and we don't realize that the reason why we're doing what we're doing is because we're living somebody else's impression of how we should live. When you were small, when I was small, my father told me that nobody in our family don't have brains for mathematics, so I could never run a business. Do you know that I actually believe that? Do you know that my brothers and sisters in Barbados, they don't have businesses because they really believe that they don't have the mental capacity or the mental faculty to be able to run a business? Thank God that I met a guy from North Carolina that taught me something different. But I was living my father's perception of life. Do you know that when I started to live in 12 different Caribbean islands, that I started to see things that I didn't even know exist? Let me challenge you guys' mind for a second. Do you know that many years before Christopher Columbus, millions of people lived and died believing the world was flat? Do you realize that? That was their truth. That was the verdad. That's what they believed. They would have died for that. But somebody else challenged the norm. I post something on Facebook today, people get crazy about it. Oh, just the way I am. If you're telling yourself, this is just the way I am, you are destined to fail. Because just the way I am means you're living in the past. Because the future is not just the way it is. The future is like when you're playing checkers. You're always 2-3 moves ahead. And if you're working on the job, right? And I'm telling you right now, this is me personally, I'm telling you. If you're working on the job, and you're stuck doing the same thing you've been doing since the day you come in, you haven't learned nothing new, and you're blaming management, and you have a BlackBerry, and you have internet, and you have YouTube, and you have the public library, and you have access to a lot of books, and you still cannot develop yourself, then you're going down the wrong road. Before you know it, you're going to become somebody going to put up in Curacao. You're going to become an antique. That people will come and watch you sometimes, but you will not progress in this life, my friend. This is the reality. Nobody wants to tell you. Rodney's going to tell you. Why? Because, my friend, technology is changing by the time you blink your eye. You guys know, right? iPad is out here today. Another iPad is out. Another app is out. I mean, the world is just crazy. You can't do your job anymore like 20 years ago. I mean, let's be honest with you guys, right? When your BlackBerry doesn't work properly, do you get angry with a telecommunication company? Do you think they're killing them? It's too slow, I'm calling. But let me ask you a question now. When your customers start to demand about you now, when your customers here start to demand from you now, how do you feel? You don't think that they have the same kind of mentality? They want their things since yesterday? Imagine I came from a fast-paced place like the United States of America. And then I come down to the Caribbean. And I see people just, Irie, man. Take it easy, man. You're in the Caribbean. You're not in America. Hold on. Be in Curacao. Relax yourself. And you're taking your time, you're bringing the food and you're hungry. You know? You think those people are going to come back? They're not going to come back. They want to relax, but they still want the fast pace, my friend. Look, I wish we could change it. We can't. That's just the way the people are. And if you want their money, you know, Zig Ziglar said, if you give people what they want, you get what you want. I'm going to explain to you guys why you want to get to the money part. But here, you need to look at your past experiences. Now, when I talk about past experiences, I'm talking about three things. You see, there were some things that you were told when you were young, or that you were told yesterday, or that you were told a year ago or 2 years ago. It could be from a man that broke your heart and tell you, listen, you're too fat, you're too slim, you're too tall, your hair too bald, your hair too gray, your hair is not straight, whatever, something negative that makes you feel that that is true because it happened more than once, right? Or maybe you tried to contact a client and the client said no once and no twice and no 3 times, and all of a sudden you assume that this client is impossible and we could no longer give this client good service because this client is a no client. Right? But you ever heard the old time saying in English? More than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to cook potato. How many different ways can we cook potato in Curacao? You have mashed potato, cream potato, baked potato, fry as in fries, steamed potato. I mean, you have potato and rice. You have so many different things you can do with potato. That's where your imagination and creativity comes in. That's what you get paid to do, my friend. People pay you for your unique perspective of life. People don't pay you just to come in from 9 to 5. That don't work anymore. If you go to school just from 3 o'clock, I mean from 9 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock and you do nothing, you will not get a diploma. That is the truth, right? If you go to the Hoffy, yeah, you got the Hoffy here to plant your stuff. You go to the ground to plant and you stand up and watch the ground and say, listen, I deserve to eat. And you decide you're planting those seeds, you will die from hunger. The same thing with your job. If you come to work and you don't produce, you will get a letter one day that tells you, thank you very much. We highly appreciate your efforts here. But somehow and somewhere, because of financial constraints on the company, your services are no longer required. But if you do need a recommendation, please feel free to call the human resource department. That means you're going home. That's it. Okay, so the things you have heard in the past, the things you have felt. You know something, you get a bad experience and you think because it happened in the past. Like I know when I first got my heart broken by my first girlfriend, I did not listen to love music for almost 5 years. I refused to listen to Celine Dion. I refused to listen to Mariah Carey because every time I hear that song, it reminds me of that girl that I love so much that broke my heart. And I believe that all women was dogs. Right? Until I met my wife. Thank God I was still open-minded that I met my wife, and my wife showed me that it's not true. You see that? Otherwise I would have gone through life calling women dogs. And she was probably calling men dogs too. Right? So there's a whole dog world going on. So what I'm saying to you guys, don't believe everything about your past. Look, your past was an experience. Your past is not you. Don't let people tell you because you're too fat, you're too slim, you're too tall, you're too whatever, you don't have education. Whatever they're telling you, let me tell you something I learned from a person in St. Lucia. She said to me, Rodney, whatever or whoever you're looking for in life is also looking for you. Powerful words. Whatever you're looking for is looking for you. But guess what? If you change for the worse, when the people meet you, they will not recognize you. And that's what we do. We stop being who we're supposed to be. The only change we should be making is personal development. Growth. The only species in the world that doesn't like to grow is human beings. You know that? 5 senses doesn't like to grow. Like to stay in the same place, do the same thing, the same way, the same pace, you know, and they get comfortable. But if you put a tree outside, give it enough fertilizers, give it enough light, it will grow to be as big as it can be. Why can't we learn from plants? Right? Good. So things that we have seen, maybe you saw a lot of people not making it. Like Curacao here, people have this mentality that we have to do what the island does. I live here for a long time. I speak Papiamento to everything. I don't have a problem with that. I love the people. I love the culture. I love everything. You see, with the internet connection, I live in Curacao, but my mind is hardly in Curacao. You guys understand what I'm saying? I live here physically, but my brain is hardly in Curacao. Only when I want to go to happy hour. Because with the internet connection, you have access to every place in the world. So why you think only Bandariba Bandabo? You understand what I'm saying, my friends? Don't let the small island make you small-minded. I see a lot of people doing that. You come to work on a small island and you get the small island mentality. Why? Who is responsible for your mind? It isn't you. Don't say it is the island. It's not the island. We always like to blame the island. Oh, the knife cut my hand. It's not the knife. It's you cut your hand with the knife. Stop blaming other things. Accept responsibility for your actions. So your past experiences. So if your mother or father or cousin or niece or your ex-boyfriend or ex-whatever told you that you'll never make it in life and you believe that, then you are living in the past. So what is the formula then? Your past experiences produces certain thoughts. Your thoughts produces feelings. These feelings make you take certain actions, and that is why you're getting the results in your life. Learn this formula. Don't forget it, because this thing has transformed the lives of many, many people. Now you're going to get a chance to understand yourself. This is real. This is no joke. Now, I'm going to give you guys another secret. You don't need to write this stuff because you're going to get the presentation. Right? I want to save you the energy. I don't want to take your eyes off of me today. Okay? I asked my wife to give you people permission to look at me how you want, from head to toe. Okay? Now, let's get straight into the action. When we talk about communication, so now that we understand the part about mindset, why we do what we do and how we do what we do and how we can change these things, now we can deal with the part about communication. Okay? Now, what really is communication? I just took some stuff off the internet. I mean, the imparting or interchanging of thoughts, opinions, or information by speech, writing, or signs. Now, maybe you might be saying, I didn't say this to the person. But what about your body language? The man that's sitting there watching the football game and telling the wife, "Do she miss the man?" Watching the game, but he's telling the wife, "Miss the man," with no eye contact, no touching of the hand. I mean, come on. Think she believe you? She believe you love the game more than you love her. You understand? I mean, I'm just being honest with you guys. You go to eat your dinner and you're telling the man, you know, you find the occasion so romantic, but you're pinning with somebody else. You're telling the man how nice and romantic it is, or the man is telling you how nice and romantic, but he's pinning with somebody else. Problems. Communication problems. So let's move on to the real action. To effectively communicate, there's something you need to know. Right? We must realize that we're all different. We're all different. We all communicate different. I don't know how many companies I go to that people are not, that productivity in the company reduces because people don't understand that you are different. Not always wrong. We like to use this word. You wrong, I right. I right, you wrong. We love that. And that is what causes fights, conflict, disunity, in organizations. This is wrong and right thing. Right? So I'm going to show you guys how to deal with that. So it's all about perception. If there's an accident out here, or if you were to sit down and write a report about how Rodney gave this discourse today, each one of you would write something similar, but many of you will write something different. Now, does that mean that you're wrong because you see things the way you see it? No, my friend. It just means that you're different. And when you understand that you're just different, and when we understand that we see things different, then it is easier for us to get along with each other. Because then we look at the similarities, we bring these similarities together. If it is something productive, we push forward with these similarities. Everybody's happy because they see some of the good ideas is coming to the table. And the things that we don't agree on, we put them on the back burner and we realize, you know what, we find a way to brainstorm about these things. But we don't stop the ball game from moving. You guys understand what I'm saying? It's important. But if you stand saying, geez, wrong and I am right, and then you know what, I'm not talking anymore because no, you don't want to share your ideas anymore in any meeting. You just come in the meeting and you sit down. Or you have a meeting, you call until you have diarrhea, you go to the toilet, and you're pinning and posting stuff on Facebook. And then the director goes to see on Facebook, and you're posting stuff in the toilet. I mean, these things happen, right? Okay, so understand these things, my friend. So let's move on now. I want to help you guys out. In order for us to communicate well, I don't want to go into all the fancy body language. You know, I'm tired of all that corporate stuff. Listen, we want to deal with human beings. Communication is about human beings. And you need to understand people. Everybody in here is different. God didn't make you wrong. He made you different. You understand that? Good. So, and everybody that's different has something unique to bring to the table. You are unique and you're special. And want everybody ever think you're special? Tell them, Rodney, say you're special. Okay? Good. There are people that are what we call auditory persons. You might not have known that. You see, many years ago, I used to quarrel with my wife at least 10 to 15 times a day. You wouldn't believe that from a guy like me, but it's true. We used to quarrel a lot. And let me tell you why. You see, I'm from Barbados. And the neighborhood that I grew up in, the man decides what goes down in the house. You understand me? That's the way I grew up. Very macho, very tough. Here in Curacao, my wife, too, grows up with a very independent spirit. She went to school, she has her diplomas and all that stuff. So here we meet each other. When we were dating each other from a distance, you know, in a sense, she lived in her home, I live in my home. Everything was nice. I meet her, we eat, we drink, we lally-da, you know. Everything was nice for years. For years, my friend, everything was nice. No complaints, no towels to worry about, you know. Wet towels, no dishes, you know what I mean? No smelly shoes and that stuff. You know what I'm talking about, right? But all of a sudden, you decide to get a little bit closer, right? And then you start asking yourself, is this the same woman that I used to get goosebumps for? And she's asking herself, is this the same man that I used to be looking for? What kind of craziness is this? Rodney, move the car. Rodney, don't put the pen there. Rodney, take up your pants. Rodney, don't leave your shoes. I said, but are you my mother? What the hell is wrong with you? You understand? Rodney, fix the tie. Rodney, your shirt is not correct. Rodney, I pressed the shirt. Don't put that shirt there. Rodney, take out the shirt. Let's be honest, right? These things happen, right? Okay, good. Listen up. Then comes the special occasions. Special occasions. Have you ever bought a gift for somebody? I'm sure these guys, it might sound personal, but you guys know what I mean, right? It's going to help you in your work. Believe me, this is one of the best sessions you guys have ever had in your life. Look, have you ever bought somebody you really care about, a colleague, even a personal friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, family? You bought them a gift, and you give them a gift, and the person still seems unhappy. And you did everything you could to get the money for this gift, and you give them the gift, and they still get angry. We're going to deal with that. I'm going to show you why. Why it happened. And it has nothing to do with you, really, or with the person. I'm serious. I improved my relationship with my wife by 85% when I found out these 4 things. 85%. I hardly quarrel with my wife. I'm serious. Okay. Some people are visual. Some people are auditive. They respond better to what they hear. Some people respond better to what they see. Some people respond better to what they feel. And some people, it's a combination of all three. And if you don't know these things, imagine that my wife is an auditory person. She likes to hear stuff. Right? But I send her a big set of flowers and say to her, you see how beautiful those flowers are? You know what she's going to say to me? What flowers? What flowers? Every time you keep sending me these things, but you never tell me you love me. You see that? No, for you might not see the mistake. Let me tell you where the problem is. She's an auditory lady. So it doesn't matter what I show her, she will never be happy. Because she responds better to what she hears. If I go by her and tell her, without sending the flowers, and just tell her I love her, that means more to her than me sending the flowers. Because she responds to what she hears. You guys understand? It's important you understand it, because think about your own relationship right now, you may be having a problem. Think about your colleague on the block. Imagine your colleague is a visual person. And you're picking up the phone and calling them, telling them about this idea. Right? They don't understand nothing you're talking about, even you talk from now till next year. Because they are not an auditive person. They are visual. You'd have the same person in a meeting, paint the idea on a piece of paper, and they would be like, oh my God, yeah, good idea. But the same person, you would call them on the phone, talking about it, I know, that doesn't make sense. I am so serious. I have clients, business clients I'm working with, some of them I do not call them. I will only visit them and show them because they are visual people. I try calling them on the phone to explain them about a project. It goes bad because they're visual. Then I have another type that they're visual. They're auditive. I cannot call them, right? Sorry, I cannot go and show them stuff. Doesn't make sense. Talk to them on the phone. Yeah. Hey, sounds good. So I want to show you some of the signs. Some of the things now. An auditive person, I hear what you are saying. The words they use responds to the type of person that they are. That's how you know when they're in that mode. So they would say something like, I hear what you are saying. Hear. Right? Sound. Hear. They would say things like, I want to make this loud and clear. I want to make my point loud and clear. Loud. Auditive. Does what I say, does what I'm saying sound right? Does it sound right? See that? You have to understand these things, my friend. Because maybe you're communicating with people and you don't understand. Does this really ring a bell? Does it ring a bell? You see that? I'm telling you, my friend, you understand these things, you're going to deal with your clients different. You're going to understand sometimes you go by a client, and you say, but why is client is so difficult? Because you're trying to explain to the client something, but the client doesn't want to hear. You might come and show them a sample. Oh, great. But it's the same thing you was explaining to him. He doesn't understand. You show him, he says, oh, good. I'll give you guys an example. An experience I had in the past, many years ago. You will go also with a person, and maybe the person is a kinesthetic person, a feeling. You tell them you love them. You send them gifts. Doesn't make no difference to them. You go one day and you just hold their hand, everything changed. Everything changed. Because the feeling. It's about the feeling. It's not about what you say and all the things you send. You see what I mean, guys? And maybe this is the challenges you guys are having in your organization, because you don't realize the type of people. I see your point. A visual person will tell you, I see your point. I see it. The words always talk about things that they can see. I want you to take a look at this. Take a look. It's a visual person. What about here? Am I painting a clear picture? You ever talk to somebody and they're always trying to paint a picture? Like I'm like that. I'm very, very visual. So I'm always painting stuff. My wife will be, I'm explaining to my wife something and I'm writing on the paper. You know, here, and and here, I'm going to put that point here, like, you know, my mapping and stuff. Y'all know my mapping, right? So like my mapping this thing, you know, my business will be here, and I'm going to go to that island. See the island? But I can explain it with my mouth. But because I'm visual, I want to paint it for her to see. And because she's auditive, guess what? Rodney, just tell me. You see what I mean? And if I don't know that, I'm going to go and try to paint this stuff, and she's going to get pissed. Because I'm trying to show her this. But come and look now. Rodney, I don't have to see it, Rodney. I can hear you. That's where we used to fight. Until I found out that she likes to hear stuff. So guess what? I became good at telling her stuff that she likes to hear. You know? And when I'm in my mood, she also realized that I'm a visual person. So at times she put attention to what I'm doing.